Presented by Listen Headlines, latest world news from trusted sources. Updating daily at 6 a.m. New York.
Mirror World News.
October 19th. 5:08 America, New York. Man riding electric scooter loses an eye after flying potato hits him in the face. Two men were arrested and charged after a long police investigation into the bizarre attack in Perth, Australia, in which a group of men allegedly fired potatoes from a gun.
Time. October 19th. 4:44 America, New York. The Elizabethan era is now over. Australia could reconsider its ties to the British monarchy. Australia marked the death of Queen Elizabeth II, its head of state, in a big way. On September 9, a day after the monarch's passing, a 96-gun salute, one for each year of her life, rang out over Canberra.
BBC News World.
October 19th. 4:41 America, New York. Doctor's funeral in Kyiv brings home pain of Russian missile attacks. Dr. Oksana Leontieva was going to work after leaving her son at nursery when she was killed in Kyiv.
New York Times World News.
October 19th. 4:09 America, New York. South Korean super app Kakao goes down, putting a halt on life. A days-long outage at Kakao has led to the resignation of a co-CEO and a reckoning over big tech's extensive grip over the South Korean economy. The co-chiefs of Kakao.
Mirror World News.
October 19th. 3:54 America, New York. Meghan Markle sends hidden message of support to Iran with her choice of t-shirt. At an event for women at Spotify, the Duchess of Sussex wore a t-shirt carrying a message in support of ongoing protests in Iran following the death of a 22-year-old woman in police custody.
Wall Street Journal World News.
October 19th. 3:53 America, New York. UK inflation reaches 10.1% as government U turns cloud outlook. Consumer prices rose by double digits in the 12 months through September, but where inflation goes next depends on a changing government plan to cap energy prices.
The Washington Times Stories. Advocacy.
October 19th. 3:39 America, New York. Live updates. Russia-Ukraine war. Kyiv, Ukraine. Russia's military is pressing on with its strategy of targeting Ukraine's energy infrastructure, leaving people without power in scores of cities and towns as the war approaches its 8-month milestone.
BBC News World.
October 19th. 3:17 America, New York. Sana Ershad Mattu, Pulitzer-winning Kashmiri journalist, stopped from leaving India. Kashmiri photojournalist Sana Ershad Mattu was due to attend the award ceremony in the U.S. New York Times World News.
October 19th. 3 o'clock America, New York. South Korea gets squeezed between the U.S. and China. The intensifying rivalry between Washington and Beijing is causing jitters in South Korea, where security ties and economic priorities are not always aligned. Residents and protesters blocked a road to the nearby THAAD base in Seoseung-ri, South Korea, in September.
New York Times World News.
October 19th. 3 o'clock America, New York. Waiting for refugee status, thousands live in limbo. As the Biden administration prioritizes resettling people fleeing Ukraine and Afghanistan, many other refugees are waiting years in a system struggling to rebuild. Feroza Binti Abdul Rashid, a Rohingya refugee, and her 5-year-old daughter at their home in Milwaukee.
BBC News World.
October 19th. 2:44 America, New York. Russian general. Situation in Ukraine, tense. The commander of Russian forces in Ukraine appears to admit difficulties in occupied regions.
Wall Street Journal World News.
October 19th. 2:28 America, New York. North Korea fires artillery shells into sea as South Korea begins military drills. Pyongyang fired about 100 shells into the sea off its west coast around 10 p.m. local time Tuesday and 150 shells off its east coast about an hour later, Seoul's military said, while about 100 shells were fired on Wednesday.
Washington Post World.
October 19th. 2:07 America, New York. Children starve as Yemen teeters on a return to fighting. Starvation has threatened Yemen's children for years.
Wall Street Journal World News.
October 19th. 1:45 America, New York. Hong Kong seeks to reverse brain drain with visas for top graduates, high earners. The former police chief, who is now city's chief executive, put emphasis on restoring Hong Kong's role as a global hub after pandemic and political upheaval spurred an exodus of talent.
RT World News.
October 19. 1:24 America New York. U.S. suggests security mission in Haiti. Washington said the operation would be limited and seek to quell unrest and gang violence on the island.
Mirror World News.
October 19. 015 America New York. More than 160 scientists poached from U.S. nuclear lab to develop Chinese missiles. A study carried out by Strider Technologies found that between 1987 and 2021, 162 Chinese scientists who worked at the top-secret Los Alamos National Laboratory have defected to their homeland.